welcome to Sports Talk. I'm Dave Nieskens, here along with longtime East Brunswick Athletic Director Frank Noppenberger, and we're here to talk about the spring season that's just begun. Frank, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate being here. And Dave, before we get started, I'd like to just personally thank you and Kara and Kevin Mack and Ken Soroka for broadcasting those basketball games all winter. The kids really enjoyed your commentary. I think you should be going on ESPN. We really enjoyed it. But from everyone, parents, kids, coaches, thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Frank. I enjoyed being close to the action and being part of the Bears season. But now we're into the spring season, and I think we have about 10 varsity sports, probably over 400 athletes participating. How's the season begun?
Well, it's interesting. The last few days, rain. We've been rescheduling. It's really getting to be a challenge now because you're limited in some games, three a week. Some like volleyball, you can go 5 in a week, but then you've got to use good judgment. So the rain has put a damper on some of the sports. However, let's start out with softball. Softball opened up against Old Bridge. Big win against Old Bridge. They won the conference last year. They won the division last year. I believe they made it to the state finals. And we had a great game against them. It was a 4-2 win. Samantha Erb pitched a gem of a game. We had 2 home runs. And it was interesting, Davis. I'm walking down. It was a cold day. I get there. It's 4-0, top of the 7th. I said, oh, man, we're in.
You're going to go home early.
As I'm walking over, Dave, kid smacks a double. I said, oh, man. Next kid up, puts it over the fence. Now it's 4-2. I said, is it me? Next kid up, strikes out. I said, okay. Next kid up, strikes out again. Drop ball, wild pitch, whatever. Now the kid's on first base. Now their next batter's up. I said, oh, no, here we go. Because I'm ready to leave because I jinxed them. But she struck out the next 2 batters, and, we went home with a win. Then we went up to Hunterdon Central, who I believe was the state champs last year, and we lost 1-0 in that's a typical outstanding team
pitching
volleyball game. Yeah, and that's when you have good teams in volleyball, that's what's always going to be 2-1, 1-0. We gave up a homer in the bottom of the 6th, and that was it. But we're as good as anyone, so I'm excited about the volleyball season.
Well, you're talking about softball. Right?
Softball, what did I say, volleyball, softball.
Yes. We'll get to volleyball.
Yeah.
We don't want to let anyone think we're going to skip volleyball. But you bring up an interesting point, Frank, sharing some of the highlights so far in this season, and I've always wondered what your highlights are from the spring sports season based on your longevity here. I wouldn't say the number of years,
That's
but
okay.
Your longevity here in East Brunswick. What events, what games, what moments stand out from the spring season for you? I'm
going to avoid that answer. And what we're going to do is when we talk about each season, I'll tell you what my fondest memory is. My memory after 21 years of AD, sometimes I forget names, right, and maybe the years, but I'll do my best. But softball, I think it was 04. Was it 04? We were GMC champs. That was a very good year.
Now, is this with Brady or Carney?
Brady.
This is Brady.
In 01, we were sectional champs with Brady. 01, Brady's first year sectional champs. We played the sectional finals. I think it's the day of the prom or or something. And we're over at Middlesex County College, and Hunterdon Central's undefeated, unscored upon. I don't think a kid ever got on to first base against them. They were #1 in the state. And we had kids like Stapleton and Bush. We had a great team, great athletes. And we ended up winning. And the center fielder, I'll never forget it, cut the ball off, held the kid to second base instead of going to third. And
the East Brunswick center fielder? So it was one of those plays that don't get in the box score but made all the difference
and I'll
in the
never
world.
forget that play or that game. It was exciting afterwards. The Hunterdon kids were devastated, and our kids were just so excited. Then the next year, the following year, it's the same scenario. We're playing them again, and it's at Stevens, and it's softball, and it's a play at the plate. And their kid's coming around. We make a perfect relay, and it's right just a little bit high. So our catcher, she jumps up. I think it was DeMarzo. She jumps up,
right,
catches it, swipes, no call. no out, no safe. And it's like slow motion.
Yeah.
And everyone's looking. She didn't hit the plate, and we didn't tag her.
Oh.
So the kid crawls, slaps the plate, safe, ball game over. They're sectional champs.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
that was a
I
tough
can't
one.
forget that, right? I mean, I remember that. And then I think Brady also, in 04, may have won the division. That was a pretty good year. They were like 20-4, had a good year. Just goes to show you the competition. You can be 20-4 and just win your division. They're my two softball highlights.
Well, we have a pretty good softball tradition here. I mean,
Yeah.
dating back to Reggie Carney and before him, and it's certainly been continued.
Sonny Regalado, yeah.
Right, certainly been continued with Kevin Brady. Who are some of the names that pop into your head with the team this year?
This year, all right, I'm going to do my cheat sheets. Melanie Morrison, maybe one of our all-time great catchers, probably can scholarship anywhere she wants. Right now, the thought is that she's going for academics at Ithaca. I'm not sure if that's rumor or what, but she's a player. Sam our pitcher, outstanding basketball player.
Yep.
She's looking to go to Ramapo to be, to continue her education in basketball. Allison McCullough, 3-year starter for us. Wagner, I think there's money involved there. And Katie Jankowski, second baseman, 3-year starter. We're thinking she's maybe going to Ramapo. We're going to be good in softball. Brady's got great rapport with the kids. They're a focused bunch. The parents are outstanding. They donated a fence. We have a little outfield there now. So a little pop. They used to maybe roll for a double or triples, now to homer. So I'm excited about the softball. I don't want to jinx them, though. No predictions.
No, maybe you shouldn't go to too many games when we're leading. No conversation about spring sports, though, in East Brunswick can begin without mentioning Bill Pellegrino. And I guess that's all I need to say. Why don't you say a few things about...
I was looking at his resume. Karen Grant was just elected into the New Jersey Coaches Hall of Fame.
Who was our longtime tennis coach, right?
She's the only female from East Brunswick in the New Jersey Coaches Hall of Fame. And Pelly is in there already. And for some reason, I was reading his little resume. Over 700 wins in tennis.
Wow.
700 wins. Come on.
Well, I was talking to some old graduates from the class of '69 during a basketball game, and I asked them what they remembered about high school, and they said, "Oh, the tennis matches with Coach Pellegrino." And I said, so I checked the calendar, and
yeah,
there's a man that loves his sports and loves the kids, and has just provided it from decade to decade. We've been very fortunate.
40, almost, since '68, Pell, Dave. So I said to him, Pell, why we're tennis? Because he played football. He scholarship in football at Richmond. Played basketball, baseball. He said, I got here as a teacher. They needed someone. He says, and I've coached boys tennis ever since.
Well, he's an athlete, and I guess...
Oh, he's a heck of an athlete.
He is a heck of an athlete, and athletes can pick up games and know how to coach. What's he got this year?
Well, let's talk about the 04 team. 04 was a great year for the Bears up in East Brunswick. That's the year we won the state championship in singles with Vivek and doubles. And we're also a tournament of champions. So when you talk about memories, that could be, remember Robbie Chess?
Yes.
Jason Zuckerman,
yes.
And Dennis Hendrickson, all scholarship. They were 1, 2, and 3 in singles. Robbie went to Duke. That team may have been one of the best ever. And the irony of that whole thing is, at that time, only one kid per school could play in the state singles tournament. And I went down to the state. I pulled a Khrushchev. Is that who did it, Khrushchev?
Yeah, you didn't take your shoe off.
No, I didn't take my shoe off. Yeah. And ranted and raved. And ever since that, they allow a school with outstanding more than one singles player to play in the tournament, because sometimes that happens. But that a little bit of history there. But this year, we have a lot of blue-collar kids. It's going to be a challenge for us to repeat the division or the conference for us, but Pell thinks you never know. Stevens is tough.
That's what I was going to ask. Who are the big rivals? Stevens?
Stevens going to be tough, and of course we play Westfield. We don't duck anybody, and we have no superstar. We're hoping to get a couple wins from doubles and steal one in singles, and that's all you need, Dave. That's what's pretty neat about tennis. You know, you may not have the best 2 kids, but you just need to win a doubles and 2 singles, and then you win
Right.
the best. So
There's 5 different matches,
yeah,
right?
5.
So of those 5, you got to win 3.
Right.
So you could have a star like Vivek playing first singles. You could lose that. You could lose second singles, but you got to
Yeah.
have the backup, the bench, as you do in other sports.
Right. To put a little history into it, when Pell and I were talking about it the other day, he thinks years ago you could play 2 positions in tennis, that they'd play all the singles first,
Right.
and then they play the doubles. I think the way college does that now. And years ago, he said that's what he used to do.
So that would give an advantage to a team with little
Like
depth.
East
Your number 1
Brunswick, right.
singles jumps into first doubles.
Yeah. So yeah, boys tennis, great tradition in East Brunswick. More banners probably than any sport.
Now, people can come to the tennis matches. I know they don't draw many big crowds. Are the matches played right here in East
Right on
Brunswick?
the campus, and it's a great facility we have. We have the nice windscreens. It's you know, you come down the hill. It's a great atmosphere, and believe it or not, when the weather gets nice, you know, a lot of people like me, when the weather comes nice,
Yeah.
they get out there. We get nice crowds. We get nice crowds. The kids talk to each other.
Right.
Hey, you got to come. Big match against Stevens, and you'll see the crowd there.
That is one of the things with East Brunswick. There is a great deal of enthusiasm by the kids. We had the Bear Den and the basketball games and the football games. And when the word filters around for different matches, there is excitement among the kids.
And they support their friends.
And they support their friends. And any of the people in the community that want to come to any matches, they can check these schedules anytime they want, right?
It's on the internet. They can call my office, and they're always changing. We made like 8 to 10 changes today. And not only did it change today's matches, it bumped someone else because you got to get your division game in first, like lacrosse. Lacrosse bumped from yesterday, today to Wednesday, bumped Wednesday's opponent to later in the season on a Monday. And then, you know, sometimes that's frustrating because you want to play a particular opponent in a certain week. But speaking of boys lacrosse, very young, starting 2 freshmen. One of them is your boy Summerer, the basketball player, and then Mike Spiata, sophomore. So we start 2 freshmen, 3 sophomores, and then we have some nice leadership from the seniors. We're going to be better when the year's near the end, because I always say those freshmen become sophomores very quick. And we're very raw. Middlesex is pretty good in lacrosse with St. Joe's, Old Bridge, and South Brunswick. But Coach thinks we may be able to sneak a couple in there, and we'll be better as the year goes along. So with Josh Meyer and Ryan Starkman providing some senior leadership, you never know what's going to happen.
And who's the coach of the lacrosse team?
Matt Severino. Matt Severino played St. Joe's, has been with us. He's assisted by Chris Yanazzo, and just a great, the kids love him. I love him. He's related to Jim Shalakis. That's Jim Shalakis' son-in-law. Remember Jim Shalakis?
I do.
You replaced him.
I do. I do remember Jim
right.
very well.
That's right.
Very, very well. We need more
man.
time to talk about Jim
Yeah.
Shalakis than we have on this show.
Right.
Now, the girls lacrosse team, now these are sports that weren't around during our years.
Right.
Lacrosse, volleyball, I mean, the number of spring sports has expanded over the years. So it's much more, there's much more opportunities for kids to play as opposed to the past. And girls sports, everyone knows since the last 30 years have really expanded.
Title IX,
Title IX.
1972.
Okay, tell us about the girls lacrosse team and what we can expect from them.
Again, brand new coach. Coach Gronsky's brand new. We've been having a lot of turnovers in lacrosse. And if you saw in the paper, there was an article about there's a shortage, that the sport is growing so fast, there's not enough coaches out there. So we got a young girl who's also a phys ed teacher, Coach Gronsky, also a background in field hockey. Hopefully she's going to hang around with us a long time and start developing that quality program that we need. We're going to be competitive. We're 1-1 right now. We beat Lawrence and then we lost to Old Bridge. But Katie Chase, Ariel Harris, and Chelsea McCulley, 3 outstanding athletes for us. And you know, Katie's just an athlete with soccer. We're struggling with throwing and catching the ball. And girls across, if you can't throw and catch, you're in trouble. It's like dribbling in soccer or basketball for that matter. But we'll get there. Kids got great attitude and they work hard, and you know, that's, you know, hopefully we win.
Now, do they play the same schedule as the boys? Or
No, completely different league, different rules, different field. I mean, the field's different, Dave. Everything's different. No equipment. Boys have equipment, girls don't have equipment. But it's the game is evolving into being very athletic, like field hockey has evolved over the years.
Now, when we talk about spring sports, everybody wants to talk about volleyball. I remember in '94 when Scott Aronauer and TJ Locke got the okay from you to start a volleyball program here, no one ever dreamed the word dynasty would be used.
Go ahead.
We were very lucky to get 2 young, energetic, and knowledgeable Rutgers graduates to come here and teach, to start the program, to build with the program. Scott had 2 state titles, and now if we don't get to the state title game, we're disappointed.
I asked Greg Rutz. He says, bottom line, state championship. Last year we won the division. I said, yeah, that's a division. Their expectations are so high. And I'm not sure when this is going to be aired, Dave, but you talk about scheduling. It came out in the paper today, Don Bosco, #1 in the state. Guess who we just scheduled for Wednesday? At Bearland, 5 o'clock. Don Bosco.
Don Bosco.
Yep.
I don't usually think of them as one of the state powerhouses.
Well, they've been getting better and better up in Bergen County or Sussex, wherever they are. And they're getting better, so they said they want to play. You want to play the Bears? Come on down.
Absolutely. That's the only way you get better. We've had that setback against St. Joe's last week. I know the team kind of recognized that. Coach Rutz, I saw mentioned in the paper, these guys got to realize that they're not as good as they need to be, and he always wants to see improvement with them. Certainly he knows what he's talking about with his record of, I don't know how many state titles, and works with the kids all year round. Who are some of the guys we should look for on that team?
Well, we got Mike Quidel, of course, but let's talk about my favorite volleyball moment.
Oh, go ahead.
I'll
tell you mine, too.
'07,
yeah.
The Travis Heilman, John McLaughlin game over at South Brunswick. Southern Regional's got 100 wins in a row. No one ever scored a point on them. They're just annihilating everybody, and we beat them. Most exciting moment that I can remember in the last 10 years, the excitement level in the gym, the way our kids rose to the occasion. That wasn't the state championship. They beat St. Peter's a couple days later. But that is up there. And then in '04, year '04, Hunter, remember Hunter?
Greg Hunter, yeah.
Setter. Yeah. And then Tony Yates.
Yes.
They beat St. Joe's in the finals. And it was the night of a prom. And it was that was an exciting game, too. Again, big underdog. So 2 of my favorite memories, except the first one. We beat St. Joe's at Bridgewater in
'99. That was mine with Jason Williams,
yep.
who went on to Duke fame in basketball, playing for St. Joe's, and we beat them. I think it took 3 games. But
yes, it was. And that was when it was not rally scoring, but side out.
Right.
And it kept going back and forth.
Right. I can remember.
Who had the big block against Jason Williams? It's his claim to fame every time I see him Friday morning.
You see him on Friday morning?
Yeah.
Oh,
little hint. Both brothers played basketball for us. Schuler.
Oh,
he
Chris
was a
Schuler.
Sophomore. Because of the limitations and subs, he put him in and blocked Jay Williams.
Yeah.
So every time I see him, it gets a little exaggerated.
That's okay. He's got the plaque on his wall.
Yes, he does. But anyway, let's get back to the boys lacrosse. Andy Ballant is an all-stater. He'll be leading us. Mike, who I just mentioned, of course, and Rohan Patel. We have a great nucleus of kids there. We've got the potential. And Coach Rutz says if we put it together, we can win it all.
Well, what's great about volleyball is that you have a different kind of kid who has picked that game up, who might not play other sports. And they, under the leadership of Coach Rutz, they train, they work out all year, they play beach volleyball, they play in leagues in the off season, and they just get better and better, and they've put themselves in a position where they compete with the best in the state. What's better than that?
What's fun? What's bad about going to the beach and playing volleyball?
No, it's nothing like it.
Not bad.
And it's a complementary sport to basketball, too. Some of the names you mentioned are guys that played basketball for Coach Henning, and by playing volleyball, it's done nothing but help their basketball game.
Correct.
So whereas we hate to lose people to volleyball, some kids drop out because they fall in love with it, those that play both have only helped both programs. And if you want excitement in East Brunswick, come to a volleyball game, especially against the Don
Powers.
Boscos,
and
the St. Joe's.
Old Bridge
is getting
South
a lot
Brunswick's
better.
good this year. The West Windsors. We have a tough schedule.
Bridgewater was always perennial powerhouse in the 90s.
Yep. We have them tomorrow.
And you mentioned Southern Regional too.
Yep, we have a tournament. Yeah, it's exciting, and it's a nice fraternity of the volleyball people. They all know one another, so the games are over, they shake hands.
They compete against each other throughout the season. It's almost like AAU in basketball.
Exactly.
Let's go to a more traditional spring sport that everyone's aware of, the baseball team. How are they managing this year? I know they have limited practice facilities because of all the construction. Coach Hawk, though, always fields a good team. Probably is hoping to make some noise in the county. How's it looking?
Well, I can't thank the coaches, the township, and the parents and the kids enough for everything they've done to help this season. Dave, we don't have a field. So we go to Central some days. We go to the manager some days. We play indoors some days. We go to Churchill some days. We go indoors at Churchill some days. And it depends on the weather and where we can play. Today we had a game scheduled for Middlesex County College. As you know, we got a good relationship with them. We're all set to play. The rains come, so now we're knocked out. This Wednesday we're supposed to go to the Votech to play. It's not a home game, but it's right across the street. So we're trying to give the kids some little pluses, to help take away that sting of not playing at home. But they're working hard. There's not one complaint to me from the kids or the parents or the coaches. They're dealing with it, and we're doing the best we can. Baseball.
It's a young team, right?
It's a young team. We got a lot of young kids in key roles. Of course, the basketball kid. Well, Connor Paglia is our starting shortstop for 3 years. He's one of our leaders. But we have like Jeremy Accardi. We got Carl Fillmore, who can smack the ball.
Started for the varsity in basketball and hit the heck out of the ball.
J.J. Grinka we have coming. We got Tyler McDonough. Came up at the end of the year for us as a sophomore. Is really smacking the ball.
Third base, right?
Right, and so we have speed and power is what Coach told me. You need pitching, as you know. That's still a question mark. So I think we're going to smack the ball. We just got to get some games. We've only played one game. We've been rained out. And but I think we're going to be okay. My highlight memory.
Yep.
It's the semifinals of a tournament we won. So I think it's the 06 season, 06, playing at the Votech. We're playing North Brunswick, and they're hammering us. We're down like 7-zip. We're down 7-zip, and North Brunswick is celebrating. And I'm sitting with my good friend Petey Clark. And as you know, I'm not a real good loser, so I'm pouting. And then we start coming back a little at a time. Affinito hits a rocket. It's still going. I think it went into Spotswood when we end up winning that game going away. Then we won the conference tournament after that. So that season. And then 1 year, Mike Seal, one pitcher. He pitched for Rutgers. We won the conference championship.
And when was that?
I'm going to say that was 97? No? In around there.
Okay.
And then Ryan Mulchin, pitcher. He pitched for Rutgers.
Rutgers, right, the lefty.
The lefty did a good. That was at the Votech. That win. The tying run was on third base. Mike Reisner, the rec guy, outstanding play at shortstop to put the game away. So baseball, second most conference titles in the county of all the schools.
Right, is that right?
Addison's number one. We're number two. Yeah. So I with this new facility coming, lights, turf, real nice facility.
We can expect that up for the 2010 season?
I sure hope so,
Okay.
Dave. I better.
All right.
And I think we're going to ask you to throw out the first ball, Dave.
It might go in the dirt. Let's go to golf because we have our two-star basketball coaches that take over the golf program, Bo Henning and Mark Monaseski. Coach Henning perennially fields a good team with golf. He's got Gene Yang going to become the first three-time conference champ. What do we expect?
You jinxed him, Dave. You jinxed him.
No, you're the guy that jinxes people.
6 in a row he's got. He's got 6 in a row. 6 titles in a row. My favorite, I believe it was 03. They went in as a underdog to South Plain Field. Their kid is against South Plain kid's against the fence, goes with a backswing and bangs his head against the fence or something. Messed up his hand, and that's when we just started reeling him off.
Name the top 2 or 3
Well, you
boys
got
and girls.
Cafein,
Right.
Dave,
right.
and then, of course, Mr. Yang.
Right.
I wrote this one down. Brooke Quay for the girls. She's going to be outstanding. She's going to be like a state. She qualified last year, but she'll be a state contender soon. But we got Jean Yang, Dave, Mike Casey, Ryan Maurer, Casey Schold, you know that
Sure.
name?
Great
And
golfer.
Josh Slim. Both thinks those last 3 guys, Ryan, Casey, and Josh, the championship's going to rest on them. He feels we're good in the top 3. It's just those bottom guys got to come through. And bottom, I only mean by the 4th,
Yeah.
5th, and 6th guy.
Now, we only have a couple minutes left. Let's get to track, because I saw that Don Mandy said that the Bear is out of hibernation.
But there's that young.
And we have Don Mandy coaching the boys and Kevin McAvoy the girls.
Yep.
Young, where are they strong? At the sprints, the distance?
The boys,
field
the
events?
boys got a nice young 9th grader. I'm not going to mention names because it's going to get. I don't want to leave anyone out. So we've got that. We got some middle distance runners for the boys. For the girls, we got a lot of good runners. No outstanding superstar. We got some nice people at the weights. We're going to contend. We may not win anything this year, but we're going to contend for the division title and possibly come in like 2nd, 3rd in the conference. But next year, I think we're going to be okay in both of those.
Boys and girls.
And this is a reflection of winter's track and then into spring track. So we're going to be okay with them. The kids, again, they'll be getting rained out. They both won the other day against North Brunswick. We got a big one coming up tomorrow against Old Bridge. But, with the weather the way it is, who knows what's going to happen.
Now, the common theme, as we've been talking, have been the coaches that have really provided great service to the school district over the years. Don Mandy and Kevin McAvoy. Where you add up those two guys' years of experience, it almost equals Pellegrinos. And so we're very fortunate here in East Brunswick to have such a great staff of people and a great bunch of kids to play. And we're always proud of the sportsmanship of the teams. But Frank, we only have a few seconds left, and this show is probably going to air sometime in the future. And tonight's the big North Carolina-Michigan State game. So I want to give you a chance to go on record and on camera to show everyone your ability to predict basketball.
I'm not real good at that because I predicted Baltimore would beat the Jets way back in '68 or whatever. But I'm going to go, if I had a bet, I'd go with North Carolina, Dave.
North Carolina's a safe bet, but don't count Michigan State out. How's that for hedging my bets? For Sports Talk, I'm Dave Nieskens. Frank, thanks for staying with us and to tell us about the season. We hope people check the schedules, come out and support the teams, because we have a lot of great kids that would benefit from their support. Thanks for being with us today. Please join us again, and please come out and support the Bears.